everyone, welcome to another stream. Last time what we did was we watercolored this nice little fair scene for the first illustration in the book. And today what we're going to do is we have this watercolor that I made for the book cover way back when we were first starting all this with my boss for TeeBee's Adventures. But what we need to do now that I've gotten better at art, and now that we've decided on some stylistic things and stuff, is we need to recreate the background of this using watercolor. And we need to make it better. And we're not going to put TeeBee into the watercolor background illustration for this because that's going to be my coworker's job. So what we're going to do is I have this nice big piece of watercolor paper. Let me just pull the poster putty off of the back of this illustration because I've been hanging it up on my wall to remind me to do stuff for TeeBee. And we've got all the poster putty off of that. Oh, there's a little note on the back of this. It's a good idea to put your name and the day that you made things on the backs of your works. I always forget to do this, but I didn't forget for this time. So I made this on April 23rd, 2003. And today it is July 14th, 2003. At least I think 7 is the month of July. Yeah, that's the month of July. Okay. So what we're going to do is I'm going to take this, I'm going to put it over this, and I'm going to turn on my little light table so we can see what we're doing. And I'm going to grab a pencil and some pens and stuff. I'm going to close the door too. And before we dive into this, I'm going to pull up my references. Because that's an important step when you're making art, to know what you're doing. So I'm going to see if, I think I still have a collage from when, because what I like to do when I'm making references, here we go, is I like to make a collage of a bunch of different kinds of the reference. So, and I'm actually, because my coworker sent me another reference, is I'm going to add that into that. Oh, come on. Put it in there somewhere, please. Insert a photo. This one. Okay. Technical difficulties. I'm going to check my canvas information and make sure I haven't used up all the layers. No, I haven't. Okay, go into photos and see if... Ah. Okay. I gotta free up some disk space. Sorry about all this. I'm just going to go through and delete a bunch of stuff from my iPad. So that we have more space to have that reference photo. And maybe now it'll let me view that photo. Ah. One moment, technical difficulties. Probably should have double checked on this beforehand. Here's a reminder for all you folks to check your device's storage space and make sure that it's all healthy. I'm gonna remove a few apps from my home, iPad's home, and I'm gonna make it so that we have enough space to pull up that photograph. Yay! Good, good, good. So now I can actually add the photograph. Oh, come on. Come on. Yay! And I'm going to make that smaller and put it up here. So now we've got our reference collage. And I'm going to save that as a PNG so I can pull it up on my iPad without worrying about accidentally changing it or anything. There we go. Now we have a reference collage. And I'm gonna double check on something real quick for you guys. I'm gonna make sure that the stream is actually going now that it's going. It is, okay. And I'm gonna share that with my boss so that he knows that I'm here. Real quick. And I know I should have done all this before the stream. I'm sorry. I was hanging out with my family this morning, so been a little bit hectic. Kaboop. There we are. Water, water, water. Water is good for you. Make sure you drink plenty of it. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to not completely trace this. I'm just going to do a rough pass over of like the important bits. My coworkers think that I should have a bit more variety in the branches. And I think that I agree. And I think maybe we should try to have a branch coming up this way. What do you guys think? That might be nice. Let's have the leaves be around here, because this is going to be like a comic book, so the spine is going to be right down the middle, but because it's a soft cover and not a hard cover, those are probably just going to be either staples or stitching. So there, I made this one with the assumption that there'd be, you know, a bit of a spine where you could put the title and stuff. But now that I know it's a straight paperback, you're just going to fold it, and it's just going to be paper. I'm going to make this tree a little bit thinner and a little bit more varied. And this is meant to be a Mongolia tree, which are known for their very twisty branches and their very beautiful flowers. And they're like almost bay leaf style leaves that are slick and shaped. Like little teardrops almost. And sort of like folded in half. I'm going to try to get a little bit of that twistiness in there. Give TeeBee a little alcove. Have a branch behind him, maybe. And this is based on a very specific tree, my boss's favorite tree. He took a couple pictures of for me so that I'd know what it looks like. But I think for this, I'm going to have a bit of creative liberties here. Now that we're doing something a little bit different with it. And I still want to make it so that you can see the creek and stuff in the background. But like maybe and this first illustration took me a while to do. I'm better now. So I think it's going to take less time the second time around. Water is good for you. Important to stay hydrated. Maybe I'll put a knot here. Like a little knot in the tree. And a little branch off here. And maybe this is a slightly thinner than this. But yeah, twisty and exciting, like all of TeeBee's adventures. Not to say that all of his adventures are twisty and exciting. A lot of them are just like, you know, him chilling out. Learning to deal with stuff. And that's important to know how to deal with stuff, you know. Let's make sure we keep our little creek in there. Never bird. Important. And I'm going to turn off the light table. Oh, look at how much we've got. This is going to look cool, I think. I'm going to take this out of the way. Maybe I'll prop it up right here. You don't see it, but I can see it right there in front of me. So that I know roughly where everything should go. And I think this might wind up being a slightly shorter stream than the last few. I think that's okay. If I can make it a shorter one. Maybe this one's going back. Oh, sorry guys, I gotta open this up. I think this tree is going to be a lot more interesting than the last one. Partially because I'm drawing it faster this time and I've got a few more watercolor backgrounds under my belt. Like I did this background, I did the Mother's Day one, I did the fair one. So now that I've got a few under my belt, I know a bit better how to do things. And this is already turning out better, I think. It's interesting, it's engaging, it's shaped. Maybe there's not a tree knot right there. Maybe it's a little more off to the side, you think? Yeah, that looks better. Like maybe there was a branch there, but And trees are fun, but they're tricky to get right because there's a lot that goes on in a tree. Like you've got so many branches, and like if you're looking at it from a distance, it's fun and easy because it's just kind of like a green textured cloud with a few branches. But when you're up close like this, you kind of see every detail of it. The bulk of the trunk goes off this way a bit. And it's taller than it is. TeeBee's sort of kind of like in the middle, bottom of the tree. This is already a much better tree than the first one I did, I think. Because it's got variety and fun and loose edges. I'm going to get some leaves in here. And it's important to have your references, but not to adhere to them too closely. You want to keep your composition loose and stylistic if you can. And if you can learn how to, like, you use your references to figure out how things work, not necessarily how exactly you want your piece to look. If that makes sense. Like if you're struggling with drawing, say, a dragonfly, and you look up and you're like, okay, I'm going to look up a reference of a dragonfly. You could just trace the dragonfly, but you don't have to. You can just look at it and go like, oh, wait a minute. That's how the wings work. There's like 4 sets of joints in there, and the veins sort of kind of guide how the shape of the wing works and stuff like that, you know? Like references are useful so that you can understand the structure of the world, which can sometimes, especially if you're making an imagined world like a cartoon, help you understand the structure of this new world that you're creating. And this world is very much like, this is basically our world, the world that TeeBee's in, but, you know, it is still a cartoon. So there are going to be some fantastical elements because every part of it, almost every part of it is imagined. And there might be stuff that's based on real life. Like a lot of the stories are based on things that, you know, experiences that my boss has actually had, you know, from when he was a kid. And a few from when he was an adult that he's telling us stories as though they were things that happened when he was a kid. And I think that's cool. Something I might do for this stream, which might be different from the last one, is I might save the line art for tomorrow. I was watching someone talking about how to make webcomics, like a big video essay. It's good, you should check it out. It's called How to Start a Webcomic 101. I haven't finished the video yet, but I've watched most of it. But some of what she was saying in the video was like, you know, it's better to come up with your idea first and then step away from it, take a think about it, and then come in later, and then you can make your details later, like the line art and stuff. And that might make this turn out better. Or I might just line art it today. This is turning out pretty good. And I'm going kind of fast with this sketch. Maybe this branch should be lower. Yeah, look at that. That's cool. That's dynamic. That's fun. Oh, we got this nice little notch here. I love that. Okay. That looks more like a tree already than the first one we did. Oops. Lead break. That happens sometimes. That's okay. Happened again! Silly. It's a silly little pencil sometimes. I like it a lot though. Feels good in my hand. What I'm going to do is I'm going to turn this around and look at it backwards. How does that look? And sometimes it's important to do this to see your art from a different perspective. Because sometimes things can, especially when making cartoons, like it can lean one way or the other because, like, I'm right-handed, so everything I draw tends to lean a little bit to the right. And this is doing that too, but I think that's okay. But it's also helping me realize things like, hey, this limb could be thicker up here. And these limbs could be more defined here. Let's put some names there. And it's not as bad if you've got a tree that's leaning one way or the other as it is with, like, people recognize faces more than they do sets. Like trees, because trees can look like anything, right? This is turning out good. Okay, let's flip it back around. Hey, look at that. Oh, that's phenomenal. We're only half an hour in. Okay, let's add some. There should be leaves here. They shouldn't look like that though. They shouldn't just be a weird circle in the middle of nowhere. They should be like defined. Hello. Sure, you can stay on. That's fine. And let's have a tree line going backwards this way. Not quite like that. I don't want it coming out at a 90-degree angle. Trees don't work like that. It's more like a 40. No, it doesn't make as much sense for there to be a tree limb there. Like usually if a tree were to have, like it sprouts from, it would be, we might have all the tree limbs we want. Now it's time to start finding where our leaves all are. So, yeah. Let's see what this is like. Oh yeah. That's a good place to fold a comic book. It's right down the middle. And TeeBee would be here, but I'm not drawing him because that's my coworker's job. Important to stretch, everybody. Artists, we can't just sit down drawing all the time 24/7. Once every hour, once every 20 minutes, try to get 20 seconds of stretching in. It's an important thing to try and keep in mind. And failing that, if you can't do once every 20 minutes, do 20 seconds. Do once every hour, do 20 minutes. Because human bodies were mostly designed to move around and help each other. I might grab my erase first, but I don't think I'm going to do that yet. Okay, now we're getting into... So I avoided putting tree limbs in this area on my first iteration of it because I wanted the background to be visible. But maybe... Oh, I just had a thought. Could the creek be over here? No, I think the creek should be over here. But maybe there's some houses in the distance over here. Like sort of a tree line a new place, and then make some houses. Off in the distance over there, and a creek off in the distance over here. But if that's the case, we should make this tree then thinner, just a bit, so that we can see what's behind it. You know what I'm going to do? I have this miniature easel here, and this might make it slightly harder for you guys to see, but it will be better for me to see, so that I have it on an angle instead of just looking directly down the whole time. Oh, that feels better. I'm gonna try to adjust my camera so that you guys can see what I'm doing. This is getting hard. This is getting tricky. Okay, you know what I might do? I might actually relocate this in... No, I don't want to do that. Okay, that's better for me, but it's way worse for you. So... I think what I might do is I might bring you guys over to my direction, even though that changes the whole format of this exercise. We're going on a trip. We're going on a trip. Over here with me. We're going on a trip to the place where you can see what I can see. Wait a minute, that's upside down for you, isn't it? Let's turn that right side up. Give you guys more of an artist view of what's going on with me here. So, hello. Where's my pencil? There it is. I'm going to tilt this, and I'm going to tilt this, so you guys can see what I'm doing. We're getting a nice little accidental tour of the studio. There you go. Oops. I just nudged my little thing. Yep. There we go. I can work on my thing and you can see what I'm doing. Oh, and that feels a lot better. Can I make this chair here? Oh, whoop. Sorry, Punk. Put her back up. Okay. And I'm gonna grab a little foot thing to make my ergonomics good. And there we go. And I'll reset all this back to the way that it was for next time. Don't you worry. Oh, that's like that. Looks like this is kind of this. Let's erase our little TeeBee mock-up here so you can see the background behind him. We might use this for a cartoon too, who knows? I think what I might do for the cartoon background is get a much bigger piece of paper, like a much bigger watercolor sketchbook. One that's like roughly the same size as my stand over there. And what I'm going to try to do for you guys for next time, or maybe the time after that, is I'm going to get a better webcam, because I have better money. And a little bit of some permanent investments, I think. If you have the resources to invest in the things that you're passionate about, go for it. And if you don't, there's almost always, cheap ways to do the things that you want to do. Some of my favorite art programs are free and open source. Like, I love using Krita and Blender and, well, I can't really think, and pencil and paper, which isn't free, but it is cheaper than most programs that you can get. And anyone can use them. Or stop motion. Sometimes you can take stop motion on your phone, and I like getting Barbie dolls, and sometimes you can get Barbie dolls for like $1, like 3 of them for $1 at the thrift store. And usually they're a little bit beat up, but that's okay. You can fix them up and make them happy. And it's been a while since I've made a stop motion film, but I might get back into it again. I keep wanting to. Last one I made was Lady Haley, and that was all the way back in 2017. Lady Haley, skeletal warrior. No, skeletal princess. With her mother, Lady Love, and her father, I think he was the Skeleton King, or Skeleton Lord, or something. The Skeletal King. That's what it was. And it was a little bit funny because most of the people, when they saw the film, they saw the characters and they were like, how does that work? How does a a human woman and a skeleton man have, you know, a daughter that they raised together. Like, and the way they worded it was mostly, how does that work? How does their relationship work? But my answer was, they tried to make it work. But my personal idea for Lady Love and the Skeletal Overlord is that they decided to go their separate ways and run things in different ways. And that's okay. Sometimes it doesn't work out between people. And that's fine. So long. And they don't hate each other. And they still love each other as friends. And they still love their daughter very much. But they had different opinions on the world. And they decided that it would be better because the mom, she's a wandering soul. She wanted to wander the world and make things a better place, like the world a better place and the kingdom a better place with direct action. By going from town to town and helping the folks with the little problems she could solve. Like in the film, she helps purify the polluted water of a lake that a village relied on. Whereas the skeletal king has a focus on the bigger picture. And he was like, oh no, I poisoned that lake on purpose because it had a monster in it and I didn't want it to come up and destroy the village and hurt everyone. Which it did, but the kid was able to, help the monster too in the end. And using the same techniques that she saw her mother using to purify the lake, she purified the monster. And I guess lifted the curse that it had. And both are neither approach is bad. And she loves both her parents very, very much, and they both love her very, very much. Although I think in some ways her dad might respect her a little bit more than her mom does. Not that her mom doesn't respect her, it's just that, her mom sees herself as this brave, wandering hero, whereas her dad's sort of the one who's more likely to, listen to her, because he's trying to raise her to take the, to be able to continue helping the kingdom as a whole. And I think that in that way, she gets the best of both worlds. She learns how to help people directly and how to see the bigger picture and focus on bigger problems. And she learns to think of both sides, of both the little picture and the big picture, and get better at both. When you take both into account, you get a better, more holistic view of the world and how to help it. And I think that's important. I might make more episodes of Lady Haley one day. The first episode was only about 4 minutes long. I'd probably make another one. It takes some setup, though. When I did that, I was still living in my parents' place. And I took over basically the entire living room. I had, and you can see at the end of the film, at the very end of the credits, there's a small time-lapsey thing of the whole set, and you can see the bamboo rods that I used to keep the blue paper sky up, and the boxes that I covered in green felt to make hills, and the cat tree that I used to hold the camera up at the right angles. I'm proud of that one. I like what I did there. And I just made that whole film in like 1 month. Assets and all. Of course, I was in community college back then living with my parents, so I didn't have to worry about things like rent. I tried to make another film, but while I was at SCAD, I took stop motion 1 class, and I loved that class. I learned so much. But the final film that I was supposed to make, there was only 1 slot left, 1 time slot left to use the camera room, and I didn't give my model enough time for her silicone set. And then the pandemic hit, so I wasn't able to redo it by using the same mold because I had to toss it out because it was big. It was this big, heavy plaster brick. And you can't exactly take that on with you to a plane. I think what most people were asking about the is like, how can a skeleton and a human woman have a child? It's a cartoon. Don't worry about it. And sometimes you gotta remind yourself that, little things like that. Sometimes it's a cartoon. Don't worry about it. I think that it's more important to think about what the story is trying to say than it is to think about, how certain creatures can exist. Although it can be fun to think about how certain creatures can exist. I know I enjoy theory crafting about the origins of creatures. Like, if you really wanted to, you could look at them and you could make your own idea of, oh, maybe the dad is human, but he's cursed. And is turning into a skeleton slowly. Or maybe his dad was cursed, but he's still kind of human at the core of him. There's lots of characters in cartoons that aren't entirely human. And things that even aren't cartoons that aren't like Mr. Spock from the original Star Trek series. He was half human, half Vulcan. Spoilers, but his mother Amanda is a human, and his father Sarek is a Vulcan. And Spock, as a result, is sort of this hybrid creature between the two. And that's part of why, Bones, Dr. McCoy, is so annoyed with Spock all the time, because Spock just kind of is like, this is normal for my species, Doctor. And the Doctor's like, there is no one like you in the entire universe. What are you talking about? You are a medical marvel. I don't care enough to study you, but my God, how are you alive? And Spock's like, this is normal, don't worry about it. And Bones is like, okay, sure. If you want to think that, go for it. I'm still worried about you because you are my friend. I know you don't like that word, but you are my friend. and, and I care about your well-being, you stupid man. And I think that's a fun dynamic. I know Spock doesn't like that he feels friendship, but I think he has a lot of friends. I think that he loves the people in his life very much. He's got, you know, there's Uhura and Scotty and Chekhov and Sulu. And I think that deep down in his heart he does truly care for all of them. And, you know, he's kind of an introvert, and that's okay. You know? And he especially cares about Captain James T. Kirk. That's like, he's his best friend ever. And part of that is that James doesn't really bother Spock too much about how different he is. Because in his mind, you know, he sees all these different kinds of people all the time. So he's not really worried about it as much, you know? He sees Spock and he's not like, oh, that's an alien hybrid man. He sees Spock and he's like, oh, that's my friend, Spock. I like this setup. I think maybe I'll keep it like this next time. Might want to get something with a longer cord though. Or maybe I'll plug it in somewhere else next time. So that this cord isn't right inside my But I like this setup. I feel like it's like you're seeing what I'm seeing a little bit more. Yeah, you can see my process better. This tree is turning out really good. Okay. I think maybe it's time for some line art. Well, let's turn off our light table first. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, let's add a branch here. I'm going back. Oh, I need to unlock this. Hold on. There we go. Make one back here. Branches, branching off. The implication of more branches, but then there's tree bits. There's like leaves, all over the place. And tree branches coming up, but there's not because they're farther away. And trees. I still want to put that bird in there. Like, okay, let's take a look at before, after. Holy shit. Sorry, holy guacamole. How much better is that tree? Look at how much life that has. Oh my goodness. Love that. Pen test. Let's grab, oh goodness, pardon me. I gotta find the thing to test my pen on. Here we go. Here we are. Hold on. Pardon me. Excuse-moi. I gotta get in here. Thank you. We take our standard, test sheet, turn it around. That one's a little dry, actually. Let's see if there's another one. That's better. Oh, that's wet. That's wet. That's a good wet pen. That is also a good wet pen. Okay, flower test. And now stretch. Stretching's important, everybody. Okay. Now, I said that I might save line art for tomorrow, but I think I'm ready to go for it now. So I'm just going to go for it. Woo! It's an elegant tree. I'm going to be honest with you. I had a feeling when I was first making that first cover that I would eventually have to do this tree over again. And I didn't think I would be, but I am actually in some ways glad, because look how much better this is. Like, I got to play with it and make it nice and varied. Now all these cool looking branches. Sometimes, it's good to go back and do something again and see how much you've improved. And I still love the first one that I did, It's not that I don't like it. It was important for me to make that at that time. Not just to have it exist, but to have it, help inform how I keep making things. And that's, where I was then, and this is where I am now. sure that I'm going to get even better later. And maybe I'll even have to do this again. And that'll be fine. You know, I don't think that we're going to have to do this again. I think that this is a good tree. Maybe I'll have to do it again. Maybe I'll have to do like a vertical one so that I could do a pan up of it or something. I think that that's where our bigger paper is going to come in if we have to do that again, though. I'm enjoying this. I hope you guys are also enjoying this. Well, I mean, there's no one here right now. I didn't really post links on as many places as I did last time. I'm kind of in a hurry to get this up and going so I could be here at 11:30 on the dot, as always. Oh. Water time, I think. And I'll try to make the next, thumbnail happen today so that you guys can check in on me tomorrow, know that I'm going to be here. This is fun even without people here, though, I think. And I'm sure, and you guys are going to see this in the future. But for now, it's nice, just being here, my little pretend audience, making things, rambling. It's good to get myself right here in front of my art table making art. I think I might have to put the camera back where it belongs though next time because as much as I like this setup, watercolor needs to be flat. This is how it works. Watercolor is like gravity, so you kind of have to make it flat. I might do this camera angle on purpose next time I have to do a sketch liner. Like this time it was done out of necessity because my neck was hurting from looking down all the time. But now it can be stuck and straight. These leaves are looking a little like bananas. That's fine. Banana leaves. Banana leaves. That's dumb. That was yeah. This is nice. What is this? Yes. And I want to do more streams with you guys, you know? They don't all have to be TeeBee's Adventures streams. I could do some, like, working on other stuff streams too. Like, I'm sure at least a few of you folks on my YouTube channel are familiar with Invader Gems, the weird crossover fan comic that I made where Invader's Zim characters are living in the Steven Universe world as members of that world's alien species. I have a lot of fun with that. I actually live in the same area that Rebecca Sugar grew up in. Like, my girlfriend went to her high school. I didn't go to her high school. I went to a different high school up in Columbia, Maryland. I tell people about it and they're like, that doesn't sound real. But it is. It was Wild Lake High School. And named after the poet Oscar Wilde. His work is really good. He was a really smart man. And he was also not straight, and that reflected in the school's culture, which was good. I loved that about it, you know? Made it feel normal for me when I came out. I mean, it was already normal for me because my parents are theater folk, and theater spaces tend to be very queer. Very accepting. And I think part of it is that, like, you know, when you have to hide someone, I mean, when you have to hide something from most of the people in your life, when you're, you know, you're already acting, so you get good at it. So then you turn it into a skill that you use to tell stories, to make other people smile, or cry, or whatever it is whatever emotions they need to feel in that moment. But you get good at it, you know? When you're a queer person living in a heteronormative society, or when you're an autistic person living in an holistic society, or a neurodivergent person living in a neurotypical society, or a disabled person living in an able society. You get, and not always on purpose, but you get very good at masking very quickly. You get very good at acting. Because it's a survival skill, you know? And I think that's part of why, and I'm not sure if this is as true anymore, because there's sort of kind of this collective
thought of, oh, gay people are normal now, so you dare be different in other ways. But in the culture, at least how it was when I grew up, was, no, this is an accepting space. You can be, whatever you want. Us people who are different, we have to stick together. Us autistic folk, us queer folk, us disabled folk, we have to be there for one another. And I love that. And I think that, and like, I grew up with that. So I think it's very natural for me to think of people as like unified. Not coming together despite our differences, but coming together because of them. And helping each other out. And I think that's not just good, I think it's important. And I don't know if TeeBee's Adventures will cover queer issues at all. I know it'll cover some, like, it's meant to be disability awareness. Like, take care of yourself. Take care of your mental health. Let yourself feel your feelings and support each other. And that's a huge part of why I was so excited to work on this. Why I'm still excited to be able to work on this. As a queer, neurodivergent person myself, who grew up in an environment, who was lucky enough to grow up in an environment where being different was normal and encouraged and almost expected. Because my parents, they're theater folk, but they're also both neurodivergent too, like me. Same as my little sister, same as a lot of my family. So there's a lot of focus for me and my family growing up on take care of yourself. Find the help you need. Learn to find the help you need and help each other. Don't be ashamed of it. Because there's nothing to be ashamed about. It's in fact good and important and mature to find help when you need it. To know how to and where to and when to find help when you need it. I'll check on that later. I'll look at it. I don't know if you guys heard my tone or not. You probably did. I have a sound booth. I don't use it yet. It's kind of stuffy in here. Maybe I'll use it for voice acting. I don't think I'll use it for these streams. I live in a basement, so it's cool, but there isn't air conditioning. I like it here though. It's a nice apartment.
another comparison check. Yeah. It's turning out good, I think. Not sure if it's entirely better, but it's good. More visually interesting, at least. And we'll get a lot more visually interesting once we add color. I think I'm getting a little sloppy here. That's alright. I call this line art done soon. I think I'm gonna do these branches. I guess I should do this. I'll do the shading not in pen, but with watercolor when I get to it later. I'll make these branches a lot more big so that you can see the distance. I should probably like think mountains. Yeah, there we go. There's a horizon. Maybe the breathing can be like here, like in the tree instead of flying off in the distance, because there's not really a whole lot of distance to fly off into, while still like, you know, being visibly a raven. Let's make this offshoot this direction. How do I render it in this one? Sure. That works, I think. Measures. I like this. There's some spaces in there. I should pull my reference again.
I think this has a few of the same problems as last time did, but I think it still looks better overall, probably. Not well. Like in my quest for twisty branches, I kind of sort of made these amorphous blobs. Which isn't good, you know. It's not, but it works still, I think, probably. It's easy right here. Sitting in this tree. Oh, okay, since there's some sky can go down. Maybe they're clouds, I don't know. I'll figure that out when I color it. I don't know, this is adding some dark lines to this. Screws how it goes sometimes. Gives it some nice texture. Okay, I think it might almost be time for a big eraser. Oh, let's. There we go. Big eraser. First, we gotta. I think the tree itself is better in this one, but the set behind it isn't as good. I think that's okay because the focus is a bit more on the tree in this, and like the different kinds of branches and stuff. Big eraser. Let's actually add some line back in there. Use these drier ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good to hold on to some dryer pens if you want, because they can get nicer textures for certain things. Like tree bark. And the sort of loose line techniques here. And I let the tip just barely brush the paper sometimes.
Ooh. Wow. There's so many pencil lines here. Maybe I'll bring out the big black eraser, the Sumo Grip. Okay, water break. Important to hydrate, people. Excuse me. Where did that Sumo Grip go? I don't know if I know where it is. Oh well. Okay. I think when I'm done with this, I'm going to take a break. Well, I mean, I got to scan this first when I'm done with some of this. But when I'm done with all that, I think I'm going to take a break and watch the new season of Sonic the Hedgehog on Prime. Not Prime, on Netflix. I'm excited about it. I haven't watched it yet. I watched the third season. It was wonderful, and I loved it. I thought that they brought the characters in a lot of interesting and unexpected directions. Trying not to spoil it for you guys in case you want to watch it. But I loved what they did with Amy. I absolutely adored what they did with Tails. Like, give this boy some love. It was interesting to see what they did with Rouge. I didn't think that they'd, because Rouge is usually kind of sort of an antagonist, like anti-hero at best in the franchise. At least that's my impression of it. I kind of sort of, like, I watched Sonic X a lot as a kid, but I don't really play the games that much. I'm not really a fan of fast-paced games like that. I'm more of a puzzle games kind of a person. I like puzzle games and visual novels. And and I guess, I liked Hades a lot when I played it. And I love playing Tears of the Kingdom. But there's like a creativity element to that one, too, which I love. Like when I was a kid, I used to use Minecraft to make references for set designs because I didn't know it, because I don't know if Blender existed back then or not, but it was fun. I like doing that. Unfortunately, that world got lost into the ether of the Minecraft updates. Rest in peace, Ignitus World. I was going all out in that Minecraft world too. Like, I made a middle school. I only ever really used the part of it for the interior shots of this one house. I gave up on the webcomic pretty quickly, but I did do a lot in Minecraft for that webcomic. Like, I made a whole middle school with playground, an entire neighborhood of different houses, like an apartment complex behind the forest, behind the house. I based it pretty heavily off of Columbia, Maryland. And now that I've been I've lived a few more places, my sets tend to have a bit more variety in their inspiration. Like, in various space, they live in Morgan County, Maryland, which is sort of like a conglomeration of places. Like, it's based on mostly, it's in Maryland, so it's based mostly on Maryland cities, like Tacoma Park and DC and Columbia and Towson and Glen Burnie. Oh, hello, Lightning. We don't need you anymore right now. You're working very well. As a very good drone service for me to erase all my sketch lines. There's so many sketch lines. Oh my goodness, there's so many sketch lines. Yeah, I might take a small break after this. I don't know if I'll watch the entire season in one go. Probably I'll piecemeal a little bit and do art of other kinds or other things. I'm not gonna live stream that art. I can't record myself doing all my art for you guys. I gotta have some things for myself. Blech. Oh, hand cramp. Time for stretches. Sorry I'm so crackety. Snap, crackle, pop. Ugh. Maybe I'll do, I have this exercise game called Ring Fit Adventure that I love to play. It's like a JRPG, but you fight monsters by doing exercises. I love playing that. It's such a pretty game. The plot is intriguing. It actually makes you want to do things. And I like exercise, you know. Like, I used the gym a lot when I was in college, but I don't really have a regular gym anymore, so that's my gym, is Ring Fit Adventure. But it actually gets me, like, I want to keep playing it, and I kind of sort of like, you know, you have to stop at a point because your body tells you to, so it's a nice, like, you know, because I've discovered very recently that the reason why I was never really super into games was it was a self-preservation tactic. Because once you put me in front of a game, I'll keep playing until I can't anymore. Tears of the Kingdom is dangerous. It's fun. I love it. It's a good game, but it's addicting. You gotta pull yourself back. But that's why Ring Fit Adventure is good for me, because, you know, it's good for me for exercise reasons, and it's also good for me because I physically can't keep playing it after, like, 30 minutes. And that, like, at most, usually it's closer to 16. It's also good for keeping my body healthy, which is important. Especially if you're an artist, keep your body healthy. I'm serious. You gotta do it. You gotta take a walk. And if you can't walk, take a stroll. Do some hand exercises every once in a while. Keep yourself healthy, because art is a lot of repetitive motions in your hand and shoulder area. And you have to keep your whole body healthy while you do that, because it's a lot of sitting down, and humans are really designed for staying in one place. We were designed to keep moving. And look at that! Oh my goodness. I think some of those sketch lines are like embedded in there. I'm gonna try it. One more time. Almost done. And then tomorrow, we're gonna watercolor this. And it's gonna look amazing. And it's gonna be Saturday, so we're probably gonna have more audience. Especially since I'll remember to actually, you know, promote it this time. Oh. Ta-da! Alright, everybody, that's the stream. I hope you all enjoyed it, and I will see you next time. Bye!